business, college, ag, business, whatever you want to call it, algebra to get into Math 130. And that is Business Calculus 1, which I think I teach next semester. I'm not sure. I can't remember. No, I'm teaching it this semester. Anyway, to make a long story short, you're on your way to Business Calc 1 and Business Calc 2. So this is heavy algebra. So you need to be, good in algebra because calculus is 90% algebra. So we're going to get started on the handouts. So get your handouts out. And while you're doing that, I'm going to pull this screen down and let you look at the screen for Teams because we're going to talk about it. There is the screen. That is the post screen. The post screen is kind of like the bulletin board. Okay. I can type in anything here and all of you will get that message. And if you want to type in something, just like Mr. Antley, he typed in, I can't get in. And let's see, he's still not in. My goodness. Let me see if I can get him back in. A-N-D. And I think his name is Corey. Yeah. As y'all can see, we've got 18 people in the class. So that means that Teams works. Now, if your camera don't work, if your computer don't work, if your wireless don't work, you've had 2 weeks. I've been sending out these emails for 2 weeks. You've had 2 weeks to get it fixed. All right. So I don't know why you can always use your phone. I believe that's what Mr. Cruz is doing. He's using his phone, and that's fine. As long as I see you, you get attendance. All right, I'll shut up. Now, this right here, if you want to chat with somebody, you go over here and hit the chat button. And I'm going to pull up, I don't know, Batson. He's got an easy name. So I'm going to pull up Batson. B-A-T-S-O-N and Stephen. And I'm going to say, hello. And let's say I need to send him something. I'm going to send him a locator card. And I send him my locator card because I'm sending something real simple. And I can send a link, I can send a attachment, I can send the whole class an attachment by going back to the class, and I can send an attachment like www.ratemyprofessors.com. I would highly suggest that you use Rate My Professor. If you get a teacher that's below a 2, get the hell out. I told my advisees that, and a couple of my advisees didn't follow my directions, and they got bad grades. Get out. I don't care how smart you think you are. A teacher with a 2 or below, get out. Take another class, take it another time, take it with another instructor. If you get a professor 2 or below, get out. If anybody don't believe me, anybody got experience? Did anybody take a teacher with Rate My Professor with 2 or below? Anybody? Mr. Turner, did it turn out good or bad? If you have a 2 or below, get the hell out. There, I said my piece. So you can send, I can send anybody a file. I can chat with anybody. You can do that. Just make sure you either hit the chat button or you hit the Teams button. Remember, the post button is for everybody to see. Here is the files button. The files button is all the files that I sent you through email. So therefore, you can get all those files right here, and therefore you don't have the excuse, oh, I didn't get the email. Not valid. That went out in 2003, 2004. Okay? There it is right there. There's all the handouts that I gave you. So we're going to go through those. So if you've got your handouts, go ahead and pull them out so you can write on them if you need to, or highlight them if you need to, for those 2 or 3 that actually read their emails and printed them out. So the first thing we're going to go over is virtual rules. Virtual rules. Virtual rules, and the reason I have to go through this is because some people have never had a virtual class before. So make sure that you're ready. You see this button up here with your icon in it? It needs to be on green before class. Mr. Antley, did you ever get in? Mr. Antley must be having wireless problems. Okay, that's why I emailed y'all 2 weeks ago. All right, you got to get ready for virtual class. So make sure that this before class says available. Does everybody see that? The icon up here in the top right. Click on it. Click on presenting, or click on whatever that word right there is. And before class, it should say available. If it doesn't say available, you're not going to get the call. Does everybody understand that? Give me a nod. It's pretty self-explanatory. Think of it like this. If you're on the phone, if you're on your cell phone and you're talking to somebody, you're not going to hear the ring that you usually hear. You're going to hear a beep, okay? Because that, I can't call you unless you're available. Unless Teams does call waiting, and I don't know if they do call waiting. All right, be ready, please. Do not do anything. Somebody today started a session before class, and about 4 or 5 of y'all went into that session. I wasn't there. That's what happens when somebody starts a session and it causes a big mess. Don't do that. All you got to do is log on and put it on and wait for the, somebody tell me, what does your computer do when I sent the call? Did it ring or did it do anything? It didn't do anything? Well, that sucks.
So for me, it just popped up in the chat. So in the chat where you posted hello, that's where it popped up at.
And what did it say? Join? Hit the button join or what?
It said a meeting has been started. Would you like to join this?
Okay. All right. Well, I thought it would do a little ring or something. Maybe you have to do your notifications. Maybe you have to go into settings. Where is settings? Settings is somewhere in here. And you might want to go into settings and set that. Okay. 3 dots are always settings. All right. So mute yourself. Now, again, the word here is professionalism. All right. You know, if you're at work, you don't put your speakerphone when you're talking to somebody privately. You don't put your speaker phone on and let everybody listen to your conversation. All right. So we don't want to listen to your conversations you're having with somebody in the room with you. Okay. I highly suggest earpods. The reason I suggest earpods is because you hear what I'm saying and you're blocking out everything, especially for some of y'all that are not at home. If you're in like the computer center or right like Mr. Turner is right there at the student center, then you might want to use earpods. That's just a suggestion. And please, if you have the jealous significant other that comes home and treats you like trash, we don't need to hear that either. All right. I had one a couple of semesters ago. Oh my gosh. He was so unprofessional. I mean, the girl was trying to, attend class, and he was just like, mad at her because she was attending class. And finally, I had to tell her she either had to mute or she had to, do something. That's ridiculous. All right. It's okay if you eat in class, but please don't make a production out of it. Okay. Raise your hand virtually right here. Here's your hand virtually right up here. See the icons? Third one over, second one over. There's your hand. It toggles on and off. Thumbs up if you like something. You know the emojis. Clapping hands, smile. Okay. But the virtual hand is the one I want you to raise if you have a question. Capiche? Mr. Beltran, do you have a question? Or are you just playing with it?
I was just stating that I'm here.
That's fine. Yes, all right, so let's go back to that. Oh, just in case, here is the chat right there. That's the chat bubble. That's the icons. We're not going to worry about breakout rooms unless y'all want to go to breakout rooms. Here's your settings for your device settings. Okay, there is. So for some of y'all having video problems, you might want to go to device settings. This turns the camera off. This turns the camera on. And turn it on. That reminds me, I need to turn on captioning. It's something we're having to do. Hold on a second. Well, I turned it on in the last class. Why can't I turn it on here? There we go. We're trying to get in the habit of doing more captioning. So I just turned that on and it's not working. So I guess, there we go. All right. And this shares the screen, which I'm the only one that can share. So there's your, and if you need to use the chat to communicate with me, just remember, I don't see it as well as I hear you. So this is the chat, and there's the chat bubble right there. Okay, so I'm going to move this over. And the reason I'm having to show y'all all this is because I guarantee you some of you have been going to Tri-County Tech and you haven't used Teams. And you've been paying for it for how many semesters, however many semesters you've been here. But you haven't used it because the people at Tri-County don't know how to use it. That's why. Okay? Keep your video on. That pisses me off. Don't do that. Keep your video on. The reason we have to do that, again, as I told the people at the beginning of the class, people, I've been teaching virtual for probably 3 or 4 years now, and this is what they do. And I have no idea whether they're in the class. I don't know what they're doing. So I'm not going to give them attendance for doing that. So if you're unsure of yourself, put extra makeup on or fix your hair if you're unsure of yourself. All right. Avoid distracting backgrounds or actions. I usually don't have to do that with college students because the high school is done run off. But I had one guy that every day we had virtual class, he had to put a filter on with making his face look all goofy, and eventually, after we ignored him the first 3 or 4 days, he eventually stopped. So we don't need that either. Okay? Encourage each other with communication. Communication makes this class go a whole lot better. And if you don't mind, please communicate. I treat students like I want to be treated. I ask that you treat me as an employer. And if you're going to be out of class for an extended amount of time, please let me know, just like you would let your employer know. Capiche? All right. That takes care of that one. Let's go to Locator Card. And I haven't updated it because I've been given 2 more classes and I'll go ahead and tell you what time they are, so you can write it down. And they both, they don't matter to you because it's not 109. It's 120, so it doesn't matter to you. All right, but I'll tell you one of them is 115 right there, and the other one is 8 o'clock on Tuesday and Thursday. So I have a class at 8 o'clock on Tuesday and Thursday, and I have a class at 1:15 on Monday and Wednesday. So you might want to put that in there. It's not a big deal. Academic calendar, I got some dates that are test questions. No, they're not test questions because students screwed them up. So I just quit doing it as test questions. I do give you bonus test questions that come from my handouts and my syllabi and the syllabus. So you make sure you read them because, and page 2 of the academic calendar, there it is. And I want you to write down the following. I want you to write down fall break, October 25th and 26th. And you need to print this out. This is the second most important page you can print out. October 25th and 26th is fall break. We do not have classes. And the last day of class and exams, December 3rd is the last day of class. December 6th, that's my birthday. That's when exams begin. And you can look at the other dates. I don't know if there's any other dates that, you know, I'm looking for no classes. That's the only one I saw with no classes, unless you see another one. Okay? This is the second most important page that you need to put in your notebook. Okay? Let's go ahead and look at your syllabus. Your schedule. The schedule is the most important page in your notebook. This is the most important page of the notebook. You should have this inside your notebook with the academic calendar. Can somebody tell me why you think this is the most important page? Anybody? Come on, Tide Pods. Come on. Tell me.
So that we know when things are due.
It tells us what day we're doing stuff.
Well, don't ignore those dates because I don't go by those dates. But yeah, it tells you how things are going to go in here. When I start teaching math, which is not going to be the 23rd, it'll be more like the 25th or the 26th. Okay, because I go over all of this stuff. One of the reasons I go over all this stuff is so you can't use the excuse, I didn't know at the end of the semester. Okay? And some of you will try to use that. All right? The reason you need to know, the reason you need to have this in your notebook, how many of you are going to ask, when's the test due? When's the test due? When's the test due? Well, the test is due whenever we finish R7. So you need to have this inside your notebook at every class so you can keep up with where we are. From this day on forward, if you ask me when the test is due, I'm going to say I have no idea. Who worries about dates? Does anybody want to tell me who worries about dates the most? Anybody?
Teacher.
You know, you can just type
Procrastinators.
Procrastinators. How did you know that? Procrastinators worry
I
about
watched your
dates.
video.
Is that, are you telling me that you're a procrastinator, or are you telling me you read that somewhere?
No, I watched your YouTube video.
Oh my gosh, you're the one. Oh my gosh. Somebody
Don't.
actually watched the first and second day videos.
Don't
Wow. What a concept. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit sarcastic. When it comes to DAD or SAD, that's dumb attitude disorder and stupid attitude disorder. I kind of a little bit sarcastic. And you know what? If I was going to start a class and the teacher gave me videos of the first and second day, I think I would watch them. But that's just me. But anyway, we're going to go through these. Now, these dates are not my dates. We will probably start math on Thursday. I will probably go ahead and open up all this homework for you because I want you to go ahead and start working. You know, you can read, you know, the R1 and R2. You can read those in the book. You can read as much as you want, but I'm going to probably start Thursday with these two sections, okay? Because I'm going to go over my lab's math next after I go over these handouts. But I will put that in my labs and you can start. But we'll go and I'll teach this and then I'll teach this and then I'll teach this and then I'll teach R7 and then I'll say to the class, you know what? We might be having a test coming up soon. And that's when everybody's flag should go up. Because that means the next class, and how many of y'all have had me before? How many of y'all have had me before in a class? Anybody? Okay. Well, I do the test in class. I do the pre-test in class. And then when I test you in class, I do the pre-test in class, I give you the dates for the homework and the test. So you're not going to hear the test dates until we do the pre-test. So if anybody asks me when we're going to do the test, I'm just going to look at you and say, I have no earthly idea because I've already answered that. We do the test after we what? Finish R7. That's why the outline is so important. The outline is so important because it tells you when we're going to be doing something. But I would not put a lot of faith in these dates. Why? Because Mr. Stevens may send me 10 questions out of R2. Mr. Goyen, I thought I had you before, or did I have a relative of yours? Is it Nagayan? Nagayan, I think. She don't hear me. Miss Nagayan, did I have you before? Okay, she's typing something. Yes. Okay, did we do the pre-test in class? Okay, were there any problems? Did you run around in circles in a panic, running into walls? No. Okay, so who does that? The people that wait till the last minute. That's the ones that run around in circles. Okay. Miss Ray, have you had me before? I thought I had you in a class before. I guess I'm losing my mind. All right, let's see, who else? Anybody else? No, I don't see anybody. Okay, other than that, what I was going to say is, if you don't believe me, go ask somebody that's had me before. Anybody ask anybody that's had me before? Anybody? Did you go to Rate My Professor? I'm scared to ask that. I'm scared to look. Okay, somebody tell me what Rate My Professor said in 1 or 2 words. I'm scared. Anybody? Okay, y'all suck. Y'all know that. Y'all are gonna have to communicate in here. I'm not gonna put up with this. Y'all know what y'all remind me of? The chick that goes on a date, you take her to a restaurant a nice restaurant, and all she gets is a water and a carrot stick. That pisses people off. Don't piss me off. All right, I'm going to ask again. Mr. Turner, I'm going to call you out. You're tough. You can take it. Anybody that wears a baseball cap that's not bent, they're tough. All right, because I can't wear my baseball caps like that. Mr. Turner, you went to rate my professor. Give me one word to describe my class. After reading those, what?
The high rating and stars. So,
Oh, it's just a high rating. You can't think of any words?
good professor.
Okay. Thanks for the conversation, Mr. Turner. You're a real conversationalist. Appreciate it. Anybody else? Oh, yeah, it's high. Anybody else look on Rate My Professor? I'm scared to death of Rate My Professor. I will not look at it. I'm scared to death of it. What?
So from what I'm looking at, you have a 4.7.
Give me a word to describe what they say.
Okay, so most of the ratings say awesome.
Okay. I don't want to hear about the bad ones. But usually what I was going to try to say is most of my students say that I'm fair, and I'm pretty much respectful, laid back. I don't treat y'all unless you start treating me bad. I'm going to start treating you bad. In 125 years. In 25 years, you know how many people I've thrown out of my classroom? 3. And they were all guys 15 to 21, you know, the stupid years. They were all guys that were, sorry guys, 15 to 21, you're stupid. I'm sorry. I got one, just turned 15, and he's been stupid for the last year. So I hope y'all are not that way. But, and girls, I'm going to tell you, I hope they do grow out of it by 35, but you still have some that cruise the mall at 40. So I'm just telling you. Okay? All right, so let's move. So now you know that the test will always come right after the last what? Section. I don't throw any punches. You ever had a teacher that tests you on stuff you've never tested before or never seen before? You ever had a teacher that throws a test up on you like unannounced? I don't do that kind of stuff. I don't do it. All right, so here we go. Let's go to first, middle, last week of class. And we are doing the first day of class today. Since this is an hour and a half class, I will try to get in some of the second day since it's an hour and a half. But we are doing supplements. I need everybody to write down the grading scale. There it is. 80% test and homework. 20% homework. I'm sorry. Great. Grading 80% test and exam. Sorry. 20% homework. So if you decide, I've had students that do this, they don't do any homework because they know it all. Okay? And they don't do any homework. The highest grade you could possibly make is an 80. Do they do that? No, usually they make a 70 or 60. And after they found out that they don't know it all, they run to helicopter or bulldozer mom and dad, and they try to get helicopter and bulldozer mom and dad to come make excuses for them. And that don't work because my department head and my dean knows how much I put out there for y'all, and they know dang well that I've told you you're going to get zeros for those assignments you haven't done. Okay? So you can forget about helicopter and bulldozer parents. They ain't going to work. All right? I'm going to go over my lab's math probably by the end of class, at least a little bit. Why do I have zeros will be turned in for incomplete assignments twice? Because I don't want the student saying, I didn't know that. How many of you have come from a high school that didn't give you zeros for incomplete assignments? Tell me about that, Miss Wilson. I'd like to know about that. I'd like to get in on that. What
So
would
basically
they do?
we would get floor grades. So if you didn't do an assignment, it would just automatically be a 50. And then if you didn't, pretty sure if you didn't do the test, it would be a 40. But that was just during COVID.
Wow. So if you didn't do anything, you could get a 50 average.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, they didn't fail you at all last year.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, I don't give trophies out to everybody. You make an A in this class, you get an A. You do the assignments, you do the work, you get an A or B. If you don't do the assignments, you get zeros all the way across, and that means F, and we ain't gonna say what F stands for, but failure. Okay? You failed this class. You failed this class. That's what it means. I guess I'll get canceled out for saying failed. But anyway, the whole point is I'm going to give you zeros if you don't do the work. Okay? Now, let's look at test. I give you 7 days online to take the test. Somebody tell me why I do this. Why do I give you 5 to 7 days to take the test? Come on.
In case you
So you
have
can't make
internet difficulties.
Excuses for not taking it?
Exactly. Some of y'all that's got 5 dead grandmothers. I only thought people, had 2, maybe 4 grandmothers, 2. And if you got divorced family, you might have 4, Some of y'all got 8, 10 dead grandmothers. I don't know where that you got. And they died semester afterwards. I had one student that told me her grandmother died 3 times, 3 different semesters, same student. Evidently, she don't think I have a memory. And then you got the funeral that takes what, 2.5 weeks? Funeral takes 2.5 weeks. So this takes care of most of those dead grandmothers and most of those 5 or 6 day funerals. I let students 3 attempts. I take the highest grade. That is a test question. So to make sure everybody makes a 6 or better on the test, please write down that problem. Okay? Excuse me. I gotta need to lay off the Marlboro Reds. Tell me, why do I let students take 3 attempts? Well, lightning struck my house and the dog ate the keyboard and my house got washed in a river. And what else do y'all come up with? I had a flat tire. Y'all seeing where I'm going with this? I give 90 minutes for a 50 minutes test. What excuse does that take care of? Oh, I didn't have time. Now, let me go into this before somebody calls my department head. All right. There is documented people, students, that have to have extra resources. I will grant those extra resources after you take those 3 tests. Okay? Because one of them I'm already giving you. I'm already giving you extra time. Well, a lot of people say, Mr. Craig, are you here? Mr. Craig, hello.
I'm here.
Why is your video off?
On my screen, it's still here.
I'm sorry, what?
On my screen, I still see my camera.
Okay, well, you're blacked out on my screen.
I see him.
And it
on
looks
mine.
like you've left. I
I
don't
can
know what's
see
up with
him.
that. You need to turn it off or on or check the
I
lens.
just did.
Mr. Cavan has been having a road trip. He's going down the road. Check him out. That's funny, Mr. Cavan. At least you're attending, okay? All
I'm
right.
on the way to class.
I hear you, man.
I messed
Okay.
up and had another one 10 minutes after a try.
Okay. All right. So 90 minutes for a 50-minute test. How do I know it's 50 minutes? The reason I know it's 50 minutes is because each, you're not the only one that uses MyLabs Math. There are lots of students around the country using MyLabs Math, and you're doing the same problems or similar problems. And MyLabs keeps a running tally of each student and how much time it takes them to do that one problem. So it gets an average. And when I move those over, it tells me what the average is. So when I finish the test, MyLabs Plus, MyLabs Math tells me how many minutes that test is. Is everybody with me? So I can cut it off at 50 minutes. 50 minutes, the average time student takes to do this test. So I make all my tests 50 minutes, and I give you 90 minutes to take it. Does anybody tell us what pattern do you see with the test and the homework, and what pattern are you seeing? I take care of all what?
Excuses.
Do you ever meet anybody that has failed my class? They either suffer from LAD or SAD. Stupid attitude disorder or lazy attitude disorder. Because it is it is physically impossible to fail my class with a F grade. It is. It is. It's impossible unless you don't put forth the effort. Okay? So what do you do during the summer? During the semester? Your number one item is the outline. It tells you where we are and where we're going and when we're going to have a test. Number two, you either attend the class or you watch the videos if you miss class. I cannot give you attendance for watching the videos. Okay? I cannot give you attendance for watching the videos. Okay? I can only give you attendance for attending class. Okay? Mr. Craig, did you check to see if your video was on?
It is on. I see myself and I turned it off and turned it back on, but I don't know what else I have to do.
That's unusual. Okay, well, maybe we'll fix it. Maybe it won't do it in the next class. Okay, but we got to make sure that video's on. Mr. Wallace, you're going to check on yours too, right?
Yeah, I've been playing with it, trying to fix it, but it's not working.
Okay.
I can pull up my phone if you want me to do that.
Say again?
I can try to do it on my phone if you want me to do that instead.
No, that's fine. As long as you're with me when I ask you a question, that means that you're still here.
Okay.
If you're not in the room, you can't answer the question. So as long as but I do want you to get those videos fixed. By the
Okay, I'll use my phone next class.
Or do it on your phone, either one.
All right.
All right. So, and again, when do you know there's a test coming? When I go over the pre-test in class. When I go over the pre-test in class, I will assign the dates for the homework and test. I will go over all of this the second week of class, or second to the last week of class, because some of you will try the I didn't know that. So we will, and I do not replace any grades with your lowest test grade or your highest test grade, or I don't replace any grades. Remember this, I don't like to do paperwork. So I don't like to have to go through, I don't want to go through your grades and have to replace grades. I don't want to drop you because I don't want to do the paperwork. So I'm not lazy. I don't mind working, but I'm here to teach you how to do math. I'm not here to do paperwork. Capiche? All right. So let's see if there's any other important. I'm going to let you read the others because I really don't think that's important for the first day of class. Although there's 2 bonus questions on your test, on each test, that comes from my information. Okay? There's 2 bonus questions. So 6 points apiece, 5 points apiece, there's 15 points right there I've shown you. Any questions on the handouts? Are you telling me that y'all read the handouts and I've covered the material so good that you don't have any questions on the handouts? I don't believe that. I don't think half of you read them. And the half that has read them, I think you're probably okay, but I don't think half of you have read them. Hell, I don't even think half of you printed them out yet. But that's just my, you know. Anyway, next question, next thing we're going to go over. MyLabs Math. Now, please pay attention on this because some of you, it takes a week and a half to get on to MyLabs Math. How many of you are already on it? Okay, Miss Hooper. Hooper! Tell me how long it took. How long did it take you, Miss Hooper? Minute-wise.
Like to join it?
Yes.
I was already on it because I had a class on MyLabs last semester, but it's very easy. Like,
yeah, but you got to register for this one. Have you registered for this one yet?
I have. It didn't take
How long did it take you?
Like a minute, 2 minutes.
It takes some of y'all a week and a half. It took Miss Hooper a minute or 2. Mr. Turner, how long did it take you?
Like 5 minutes. It was pretty
5 minutes. Some of y'all, it'll take a week and a half because the dog ate your computer. This is how you do it. You go to Blackboard. Now, let me go ahead and write something down for y'all. You only have to register for MyLabs Math in Blackboard. Okay? You only have to register in MyLabs Math for Blackboard, in Blackboard. Afterwards, I'm going to send you the link so you can write it down. Let's see. Window V. Somebody give me a nod when you get that link right there. Got it? That is the website for MyLabs Math. And you can use your password and ID to just go there. Why? Because Blackboard is down half the time. You don't want to rely on Blackboard. If you're a procrastinator and you have a term paper due or an essay due and you have to turn it in on Blackboard, you better not wait till the last minute because Blackboard will crash when you're ready to turn in that essay. It's called Murphy's what? Murphy's Law. What can go wrong will go wrong. And if you wait till the last minute to turn in anything through Blackboard, I guarantee you it's going to crash. How many times have you turned in a paper and you waited till the last minute and the printer went out? That's Murphy's Law. And Blackboard will do the same thing. Do not depend on Blackboard. Make sure you use this as a back door, as a plan B. Use that link. All right, here we go. Blackboard. And I'm going to have to type in a confirmation code. This is a new security thing Tri-County has adopted. Do y'all have to do this confirmation? Yes or no? Do y'all have to do a confirmation to get into your ETC? Okay. I guess that's just faculty and staff. All right, there's Blackboard. Let's find your class. Math. Y'all are 130 or 109? 109. Click on it. I'll try to make this bigger. There, can y'all see that better? I'm so nice to y'all. Okay, now go over here, My Labs Math, click on it. Click on it again. Now this is the important part you need to write down. Okay? You need to find your class. Of course, yours won't have Math 130. That's Math 109. It'll be the only one you got. There it is. Click the green button. Then click the green button again. And then you might have to click one more that says Open My Lab Mastery. Boom, you're in. You have just registered into My Labs Math for 109. That took a minute. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you're using an Apple computer, you might as well multiply that by a week and a half, because you're going to have to make sure you got Google Chrome, because Safari sometimes doesn't work right, or whatever y'all call that, the Safari or whatever. Call the help desk, okay? Don't call me, because I've never used an Apple product, period. Don't say anything, Hubert. Just keep going. All right? Just call help desk. Help desk 646-1779. Anybody have an Apple that can share with the class what you have to do? I know you have to get Google Chrome. And I think that's the act of Congress on the Apple. I'm not sure. What?
You have to download Google Chrome and make sure that you have purchased Microsoft.
There you go. Okay, so make sure if you need help, call the help desk. Don't call me. Because that, when you say Apple to me, I think it's a fruit. I don't even like my kids having Apple products, but that's just me. To me, it shut up. I'm gonna shut up. Okay. So here's the main page, and here is the buttons, and there's 3 buttons that we're going to concentrate on. 3 buttons. The first button is assignments, and your assignments are up. You got to do the check quiz. Okay, y'all have quizzes. I forget about that. Y'all's quizzes are 10% of your grade. You have to do them. If you don't, you get a 0. Okay, and they're just like 5-question quizzes, and you take them before and after. Okay, take your quiz, and you can start working on your review right here. Okay, so I'm gonna click on one of them, and I'm gonna show you something. I don't care. I'm a teacher. All right. Here's what your test questions, as well as your, well, it disappeared. Damn Russians. I'm taking over. All right. I'm sorry. Shut up, Hubert. Just don't even go there. There is a test question right there. Let me see if I can find one that's got decent help questions on it. Hold on. What in the heck? Just give me a second. I'm looking for something. You know, I'm starting to think these teachers are cutting off. Go down here to 1.3. There we go. All right. So here's what the questions look like. And this is what a test question looks like. Now down here where it says get more help, that's what I want to talk about. Get more help is designed for you to use when you're at home and you're working on homework. View an example shows you an example step by step. Help me solve this shows you an example with questions. Why? Okay. If you hit continue, it's going to ask you questions. Say, okay, well, what's this? What's 2 minus 7? -5. And then that's part of the question. So I want you to write down. We need to write this down because it's important because you're going to ask this your first couple of days. All right. Help me solve this. It's what we call a guided tutorial. That means that it's going to ask you questions as you go through and find out how to do the problem. Now, some of you guys, you ain't going to like that because you don't need directions at all, but somebody might need directions without the questions. And that is the one that says view an example. View an example always that I before E except after I never get that right. Did I get it right? Yeah, no, I didn't. I suck. VIEW. There we go. View an example. Just show me. No questions asked. It will not ask you questions. It will just show you how to do it. Get more help. The textbook takes you to an example in the textbook. That's pretty self-explanatory. Example in textbook. Video, this one does not have a video, but some of them do. And graphic tutorial. Both of these are video type. Okay, examples. So you've got different learning styles for those people. Who usually does help me solve this? Never seen material before. Usually the people that have never seen calculus before, you might use this right here versus somebody that's had it before and want to jar your memory. Textbook, that's for the readers. Some of y'all that can read War and Peace in 2 days. Some of y'all that can read a whole book in like an afternoon. I read the funny paper, I fall asleep. I can't. Anybody out there, you read something, you fall asleep? Oh my gosh. I can read an article in the newspaper and I fall asleep. I don't know. Video, that's for you visual learners. So what if you use all of these and you still don't know how to do the problem? Then you use my button. Ask my instructor. Ask my instructor does this. It takes a problem, it creates a hyperlink, and you can put a message on it. Please do this problem in class Thursday. I can't spell. In fact, I'm on Thursday. Okay. I'm going to intentionally misspell Thursday for a reason. And I'm going to send it. And Thursday rolls around. I pull up each class. I pull up my email. And I look in the correct folder. And there is that question. How do I know it's that question I just sent? Well, I spelled Thursday wrong. And it will take me to that problem that you had the night before. I don't know why it won't let me. Oh, I have to move it to a whatever. Hold on. Math 120. There. There we go. And now I click on it. And here is the problem that you sent me. And that way you don't have to tell me what, and I'm going to tell you this. If you come to my class and you say, I got a homework problem I need you to do, first thing I'm going to say is, why didn't you send it to me? Second thing you're going to say, oh, I didn't send it to you. Well, the thing I'm going to say is, well, you need to send it to me. Why? Because my second semester teaching, this is a true story. Second semester teaching, I'm teaching an algebra course, and I've got a student that comes in with a homework question. And she wrote it down and gave it to me on a piece of paper. I did that problem 5 times on the Blackboard. And I got the wrong answer every single time. Of course, class thought I didn't know what I was doing. My second semester, you know, this guy just got out of college. He don't know how to do algebra. Do you know why I could not get the right answer? Anybody want to guess?
She wrote it down wrong.
She wrote the wrong problem. She wrote the problem down wrong. That's why I do not do questions unless you send it to me. Okay? I used to tell students to print out the question, print before they fix the email, and the student would print it out and bring it to me. I will not do a problem if you write it down. I will not do it, because I'm not going to set myself up like that again. All right? Now, that's how you do the homework. Now, somebody tell me, I want to ask you something. If you use Ask My Instructor and I use Ask My Instructor, in other words, I take your questions, what can you tell me about how this affects our class? That's critical thinking. You need to think. If you send me questions and I go over questions, what does that mean about the class? Anything, just anything that comes to your mind. What do you think of if I address the questions that you send to me?
there you're not paying attention.
No. That's no. If you no. Okay, let me rephrase it. If you send me questions that you cannot do, which is not, if you, let's say you got 20 questions and you send me 3, okay, and I go over those 3 questions in class, don't you think that will gauge the class? I don't know if I spelled gauge right. That don't look right. Okay? Won't that gauge the class? Did I spell gauge right? You ever spell a word and it doesn't look right? That don't look right. How you spell gauge?
The
A is before the U.
I think it's the A before the
The A is before the U. That don't look right at all. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay? What does gauge the class mean?
Like
Now
engage.
Mr. Cavan is making us dizzy. All right. But that's all right. At least he's got his video on. All right. Somebody tell me what gauge the class means.
Like engage the class.
Not engage.
Communication.
But what it does is it tells me what I need to go over, and it doesn't speed the class up. And in fact, what does it do to the class? Slows it down. See what I'm saying? So if I go over, let me just write it to you like this. Sorry, hold on. You're right. That didn't look right. All right. So let's say I go over 2.2 homework. And I'm using 2.2 because I'm just making up this scenario. And you go home and do 2.2 homework. As a class, you go home and do 2.2 homework. And the next day, Thursday or Tuesday, whenever that day is, in this case, Thursday, I check my email. And there's no questions. And what does that tell me as a class, as a teacher?
Nobody has any questions?
That the class understands the material. Because they haven't sent any what?
Questions.
But what if, let's say that there's 10 questions on this homework. And let's say I get 6 questions. Then I know I need to go over those questions before y'all go to the next section. You see? See how this works? Now, one other thing, and this is going to address some of y'all. If I go over 2.2 homework, if I go over 2.2 in class, that means you work on 2.2 for homework. Why do I have to tell y'all this? Somebody tell me why I have to tell y'all to do 2.2 homework after I go over it in class.
Because it's still counted as a grade.
It counts as 20% of your grade, and some of y'all won't do this. What will y'all do, procrastinators? Y'all will wait till 5.6 or 2.6, and you'll try to do all of it, and then you'll try to send me questions on 2.1 when I'm on 2.6. Not valid. You had your chance. your chance at 2.2 questions was after 2.2, not after 2.6. Everybody with me? So if you're going to send me questions, you send me questions after I do the 2.2 material, not after I do 2.6. All right. Who's got questions? I mean, I know you probably going to have questions Thursday, but who's got questions right now? Okay, well, I am going to call the roll. That does not mean get out of here like a bat out of hell after I call your name, okay? So for some of you that are already, you know, spontaneously combusting, you'll be all right, okay? Just chill out.